The first company we have coming up is MediaShares. Come on up. Woo!
Come on, let's try that again.
MediaShares.
I'm Massey with MediaShares. You've all heard of crowdfunding. A lot of companies are desperate for funding now, and they get small amounts of money from a lot of people. There's some very successful companies up here that have done this method of crowdfunding, even to the tune of $200,000. And these are from donations. The fans and followers want to be part of the action. The companies need the money. And the internet brings these two groups together, and so do we, but in a slightly different fashion, because those are all donations, and we have a method of doing it with securities offerings, actually selling investments in things, and we do large projects. Instead of $10,000 projects, we do large projects. How do we sell? We sell to fans, entertainment projects primarily, video games, movies, record albums, NASCAR teams. We do it through an IPO, a real bona fide, fully registered IPO posted on the company's website. Builds a massive online community. We have an issued U.S. patent for this procedure. It was not easy to get, let me tell you. We can sell one share of stock effectively online. And we can do that for about $3, that's a secret sauce that makes this possible. We're working with BNY Mellon, a big bank in New York, and it's not easy to get a relationship with them, let me tell you. ComputerShare is our backup. We do this through, we have David Wagner as a securities attorney. This has been taken to the SEC. We have followers or licensees. We're a licensing model. This is to be licensed to companies that want to raise money on their own website. They have to have a fan base for it to work, though. We have a Christian themed movie that we're going to do in-house. We're going to own it in-house. And when we do that, we also have a NASCAR team that's ready to go, so we can orchestrate these perfectly ourselves. A fan, for example, would buy a share of stock in their favorite team, and they get a DVD of the highlights of the season. Our movie is you buy a $20 share of stock in a movie, you get a free DVD as a stock dividend. Got a great team. Dan Shurko is a former vice president of Paramount Pictures. Ileana Rozescu does e-commerce systems for Pepperdine University. Peter has a wonderful record as a CFO and SEC reporting experience. And Jim Volpe invented direct registration. That's how the stock is sold, through direct registration. We make money because we own stock in each licensing company. We also get a cash fee from the proceeds of each offering from each company. We sometimes own 50% of a company that we own in-house. This is what we would get if we get 50% of the company. This is what we would get if we get 7% of a company, a licensing company. And we're looking for $500,000. Thank you very much.
All right, MediaShares. I want you all to buy a share in the fund. Now, arrange your and burn it. The dividend is cold.
Can I go to the bathroom during this part?
Yeah, you're just
You
kidding.
probably want to. I didn't see any skin. Whoa, what happened? Yeah. Holy crow! I was like, judges, find your inner three. They even found an inner five.
He told me ahead of time they're going to bury me.
I did. I was like, okay, well, hey.
He's got a taser in his pocket, too.
Are you invited to talk? You know? Shoot.
All right, so I only had one glass of wine during the breaks. This is not the alcohol talking.
Yeah,
Jason's
that's
drinking
why.
my wine now. Cookies, you can have it. Look, I've written before, I think finance is a massive opportunity the web has not disrupted. I love anyone doing something innovative that actually disaggregates finance, period, and does it in a creative way. I think you obviously put a lot of work into getting a lot of permissions. This is not a pie-in-the-sky idea. You have a management team, you have a lot of relationships. As someone who, also from a media point of view, as someone who has done stuff for TV, both online and offline, has done big projects, book projects, I love the idea of being able to commission as, an independent and get funding for something. I've had a lot of documentaries friends of mine have been involved with. Right now it's a very antiquated system to go sell that. If someone could put that up, there's a lot of people, particularly in our community, who would pay $3 for a share to produce something that could roll up very easily. I think this could create a lot of new media. I think it actually could be a new business model for media in a lot of ways. I think fans love to own something. It's a Green Bay Packers model rolled out widely. I think it's a great idea.
Oh, wow.
And if you haven't been on TechCrunch yet, TechCrunch TV is here. I would like to do.
You gave her a 5.
Oh, you're.
I would love to do a video with you afterwards for TechCrunch TV.
Whoa, dude! I didn't think that.
It's an exciting idea that is rife with legal problems, and I want to. The reason I give it 3 is because it's either a 0 because it legally cannot work and you get your ass sued and it costs too much to do, and it gets sort of lumped into all the scams that are out there in this space. Or it's a 5 if you can figure out how to make it work like Kickstarter, which is brilliant, or Indiegogo, which is brilliant as well, but a little less brilliant than Kickstarter. I've looked at a lot of these things. It makes sense that people get to own something other than a signed DVD. Why would they get a share? The problem is the government feels the need to protect people who have under a net worth of $2.5 million or whatever it is. Those laws came out in the 1930 or whatever to protect people, and they haven't changed, and I think you're going to get sued, so I need to hear a lot more about how you're not going to get your ass sued to give her 5.
But it's a big potential.
Huge potential.
This is almost impossible to evaluate in such a short time. It's a very complicated idea. Very interesting.
What was your number?
My number was a 3. My instinct is that it's a lot easier to raise smaller amounts of money through crowdsourcing than it is really large amounts of money through crowdsourcing, but I could be wrong about that.
No, you say you're right, dude.
No. You say why?
He said to tell the
Yeah,
truth.
why? Yeah, why?
Why?
He said to tell the truth, because we've been working on this with the top securities attorneys in the country. It's been taken to the SEC.
No. But why is it better to raise
Yeah,
more
how
money
people-
than less?
Because Kickstarter made $10 million last year, gross $10 million. They only
No, I
made
mean on a per project
$700,000.
No,
On a per
we can
project.
do it.
All right. You all right? This is the danger with letting you talk. Yeah. Oh! You get to talk if you win.
And he gets to fight with Jason.
Yeah, you can spar with Jason if you win. Surprise!
So for me, I worked at a financial services company for 4 years. I worked at Nextcard and Leather Marketing, which we were a bank with public, and we had a little problem with the SEC. I've been there, and then I am also on the board of Lending Club, which is registered with the SEC. So I have a lot of questions in terms of what you would do. And then the other question too is I really have a question in terms of how much this crowdsourcing could raise. I mean, $700K is not a huge amount in terms of profit, and I think I have questions in terms of how much that could actually do because you'll have to drive traffic to this site.
What was your number again?
I gave it a 3 because I need to know a lot more. I think it could be a mistake, but I need to know a lot more. So.
George?
I'm a 4. I think it's a hugely disruptive idea. There's, as Jason mentioned, it's going to be a battleground. I understand the SEC gave an opinion now, but politicians will battle over money and will want it for themselves. So I think it's super exciting and super disruptive.
Wow, well that was fantastic job. Never argue with the judges.